Here we go. Should have everything going. Should do. There's the tweet. Alright, tweet's gone out for going live. Let's get this underway. Alright, there we go. And the retweets. The retweets are real. So, we've got Unity. Unity. Here we are. Yeah, I gotta unlink YouTube. Either way, Unity. Da-da-da. We've got so many things going on now with the way... Well, let's just show you what we ended up with yesterday. Have a look at that. At the end of yesterday, we had trees. We have bushes. Bushes generate berries. We have the agents that run around and trade, loot, or steal if they must. We have the water that can be collected. The trees can be cut down for logs. Colored people that match up with their colored names on the side, and our activity log. And the weird little bug where the people are shown from the bottom instead of from the top. But hey, whatever. And then... Ooh, and on average, we have turn 50, and we decided that we wanted people on to last till turn 80, but like only 3 or 5 people. Was 50 people, half of the people should die by turn 50, and then 5 people should be left or so, maybe turn 70, 75. There's 4 people left. Gosh, 2 people left. And one of them's going to loot the other immediately. But this is turn 60, 65, so, oof, they both died 67. So that's fine. You can see there's a lot of water left in the map, and there's still some bushes, so not everyone had collected all of the resources. So, let's as well, one more thing is that we do need the chat open, just in case. Yeah. Okay. If the price makes sense, the price makes sense. You just have to do. Yeah. Well, go. Yeah. What are we going to do on the map size? Let's open Visual Studio. Workable. IPs. Workable. Here we go. Can't drive this. That's interesting. It's always neat to look at everybody's little things here, you know? Especially when they're nice enough to retweet us. Alright. Hey, welcome to the channel there. I guess that says Dayor. Sometimes I can't tell. It cuts off long letters like, say, a G or a Q, etc. It's, I can't see much, so let's see. Make the text not quite that big. There we go. Somewhere in between. I normally like 110%. There we are. Oh, wow. I really appreciate the follow, too. Alright. So we've got our player list. On the left here, we have our agents. We were gonna sort out the namespacing a little, probably improve the layout of the whole project, because if I go here, if I right-click the main project and run style cop, I believe we've got, a few hundred warnings. And you'd expect to have this by now, especially with having public things and private things that aren't documented. But I'd rather, spend more time getting functionality on stream than worry about improving the code right this. It's not too bad. Let's, the one thing we do need to make, probably, is a models section, because we have our item blueprints, but the items only have a value and a weight. And we're not yet dealing with the attributes, because we would want something like a entity attribute value system, something where there could be attributes taken from the database and then loaded in. I don't think what we're using as a database supports this, however. So if we go to items, right here, basic listing, right? Where we use the items, let's find them. Item, right here. We'll notice we load it given an object. So it's, yeah, because this little database class handles relating stuff to an object for us, we can't just have a bunch of arbitrary fields. We would need to load those ourselves. So we would have to make an maybe an attribute value sort of thing instead of an item blueprint as well, and then handle that here in our item class where it loads and saves them. I guess we could try that. Let's try that. So what you'd have is you'd maybe a public list. Oops. Again, we need to make sure that we're already loading everything we need. Don't know why. List. This would be a list of item attributes. All right. Now, item attributes. Let's do item attributes attributes. Get. As always, private set. A list needs to be, here we go. List is always done up here. So public list attributes equals new list item attribute. There we are. And then there we are. Let's make our new class. We're going to put this in the, not in the database folder, but I'm going to create a folder for items. The reason I'm doing this is because we actually have a few item related files now. So I can now take in probably item, I can take in item blueprint, and I can take in now item attribute. So, given item attribute, just get rid of all this and any imports we don't need. We have our list of item attributes, get and set. And now we should have probably types of attributes. No, just I'm going to make it real simple for now. An attribute has a key and a value. This could be more complicated, and it frankly should be, but for now, I'm not going to handle that. So let's make this, I could make these struct. I'll make it a class for now, just with a public string key and a public string value. We'll fix that up after. All right, what do we got in the channel? Somebody with a mic. Oh, well. So we've got key and value. We're going to try and load these from the database as well. Load attributes from the database. This will be given, item attribute. Let's see. Am I going to have to do one like item blueprint? Probably. Yes, I will. Primary key, auto increment, ID, copy. I think that's all that's required. And I'll also need, in this case, a item ID, which is get set. Now, these are defined by, there we go, the namespace SQLite for Unity 3D. So scroll and import this. Now we have our item attributes. The idea is that we take item attributes and load properties of our items. So let's have our toString as well, just in case. ToString is an item attribute where the ID is 0, the key item ID is 1, the key, and then the value. We have item ID, key, and then value. There we are. Now, in our description of items, oops, extra file open, that's going to lag a little. Let's give Visual Studio a little bit of time to catch up. There we are. Doesn't like highlighting large files, especially when I'm zoomed in. Now we're going to try and load attributes. So let's say that item attributes is database.getConnection items.db table item attributes where x.item ID equals ID, blueprint.id. And then how do we... Let's just do var for now, because we do need to take this now that we have our selector, and x, where x.item ID is blueprint.id, because we don't copy the item ID to ourself. No, we don't. We leave that in the database. All right. Since these don't save, let's see what happens. Normally use first or default, but in my case, I'm going to use... it's not like find, get enumerator, join, order by. I could do copy to. I could also do take. So we could take a number from them. Let's take 1. Just see what happens. So while true, load attributes until done. And then var attribute equals attributes.take1. If attribute is null, then we break. Stop loading attributes if they're all loaded. And then this, or in this case, attributes.add. And let's see, this would be query. Query 1 equals attribute. There we are. Because, oh, let's see. Cannot convert a take query. I want the first or default. There we go. Let's see what happens. Debug.log. Let's see. Loading attribute. Since we don't load items once, we in fact load them repeatedly. Let's see if loading item attributes does what we're expecting. Just wait for it to compile. 1 error. Is that a real error? What? That is not a real error. What's going on? Apparently update does not take parameters. Oh, I see. Let's... Where else was I using that sort of syntax? Hopefully nowhere else. Nope, looks like we're fine. Update canvas and update players. That was... Is that actually meant to be called during update? If so, why did it take an argument? No. Now we're getting an error in the database, which is what we should expect. Because that is a table that wasn't created yet. Now let me go look at update and see... For each player, their color... Nope, that was meant to be update. So... No, that takes a... Wow. So I'd badly named that function to coincide with Unity's update function. So that's interesting. Because of course, Unity will take even a private void, so... There we go. Given this cleared, the SQL exception, let's open SQLite browser. Favorite little SQLite tool. And now that we have our item blueprints, we should also create a new table called item... Let's see. Item blueprint. We need one more table called item attribute. And the item attribute table is going to have a field ID. This is auto increment. This is pretty standard, right? I'm going to have a field 2 item ID, which is an integer, and it's not unique. And then we're going to have a key and a value field. And neither of these are unique either. And these will be text. This will be improved in the future, but for now, it just needs to store basic item properties so that we can get, for example, the caloric amount of bread. So let's go and browse table. We're going to see that berry is item 7, bread is item 3. So for item 3 and item 7, we're going to give them calories. And the bread we said was how many calories? Let's, again, search the entire project and find calories. Bread was 60, berry was 20. So, 60 and 20. Because then we won't have to have these hard-coded. So we're going to write changes. Now we have calories, 60, 20. And then if we run Unity, we should get successful loading attributes. Unless, of course, we did an infinite loop, which is possible with take. Yes, it is. So if attribute.first is null. So really, we want to take next is attribute.first. If next is null, otherwise attribute add next. There we go. And yes, at this point we have crashed Unity, so I'm going to go into Task Manager and kill Unity. Because we did put it into an infinite loop, so I mean, what did we expect, right? Let's launch it one more time. Unity. Hey. There we go. Unitod. There's Unity. All right, play. Given the new script, we get an actual error. That's fine. There we go. We have a problem with first. Take and first, apparently. So, first is query.toList.first. Query take 1. Interesting. So first does call take. So, do we do... Does it take it specifically like something? No, it goes take dot first. This is a little weird. Let's see what I can do on query. The deferred element... No. Get enumerator. I could go through them with the enumerator, I guess. Yeah, okay. So let's try that. Hello, excited mayhem. Hello, Divide Darko. Hello, everyone. Let's, query. Why can't we take this query? Let's try instead, because it's a numerator, going, var... Let's do dot get enumerator. Because this should give us for int I equals 0, I is less than query dot count. No, it's an enumerator. So it only has current and next. So I guess I could for each result in query. No. Query is an enumerator, but not... It does not contain a definition for get enumerator. Okay. So it's already... Let's just go back. We can enumerate on the query itself. So for each result, hopefully the result's already set. Attribute.add. Next. Where next is result. Hello. Bill Gates and Kalang, welcome to the channel. Let's play one more time given the changes to database. Excellent. It looks like we're able to load item attributes this time around. So to see if this worked, let's just debug.log result, and because this is a class sitting by itself, I need to explicitly call Unity Engine debug. Hey, thanks for the follow. I do appreciate it. There we go. So, looks like we're loading the caloric value of our items now. We can have arbitrary attributes on everything. Given arbitrary attributes, we need a selector. So let's do public... How are we going to do this? Do a public method, get attribute, and it returns a string. Get attribute, and it has a key. And then to do that, we go for int I is 0, I less than attributes.length, or sorry, count I plus plus. If attributes I dot key is key, then return value. This is a very simple key value storage, but you know, this will serve our purposes for now. I'm not going to have a set attribute because everything is hard-coded in our case. So now let's find in our whole project all references to calories and replace them with item definitions now that we have them. So if we're able to eat a berry, so inventory.remove berry, that returns IC. Then we should return calories plus equals item. We need to get a reference of that item. So let's do instead of inventory.remove berry, let's do inventory.count berry greater than 0. Because then item equals inventory.find berry. We can get the berries attribute, which is item.getAttribute calories. And we cast this using try parse because we know it's going to be a number in this case. Do we do try parse or parse? Parse. There we go. Int.parse, because it's a string that's always an integer. I guess I could cast it. I don't know. We'll see. This is the berry. Ooh, we could make this even simpler now. So string foods equals berry bread. And then for each food in foods, if inventory.count food greater than 0, then food. And then we're just making this generic now so that people can eat any sort of food, and we won't have to hard code any of them in the future anymore. And then calories. Every food is going to be determined by the key calories. And go. So now we can consume any foods. If there were other foods made, they would also function. So let's go back to Unity one more time and see that this is actually working. There's no such thing. It's funny that you would ask that, though. I looked at my levels like, huh, nope, definitely not going through. Yeah, let's definitely look at it, right? I was like, it's possible. All right, so we've got people are stealing. People are eating now the bread and the berries. You see how it's now part of a database, right? So it's pretty straightforward. I mean, we could add more items to the game fairly easily and have arbitrary item attributes since they're all loaded. Only thing I'm going to have to do to get connection is make sure that it's not called repeatedly. Maybe cache the item definitions and make sure they're only loaded once, but that's for after. It's going to be an issue when we have a lot of items, but for now, it's not an issue. We have like 3, 4, 5 items. That's it. All right, people are collecting berries. Will they survive? Yeah, actually, it looks like EB is going to survive for quite a while with that food. Proxy, too. They both have a lot of food and water. I am. Yep. Interesting. So people's food and water amounts are not necessarily updating on the side of the screen anymore. Let me go back to, where is it? Player list. Here we go. And player list needs to update, clearly, because it's not updating. I thought it was updating on late update, but it's not. So late update calls update players. Update players puts, this was gotten rid of entirely, so for each player, let's move this. Since update players is never called by itself, and then put it in update. Why not? Really fixed update because that's where the rest of it. No, that's specific to physics. Let's just see how many references we have to this, because it wasn't updating anymore. People's water. There we go. People's water is now updating again. It was weird that late update simply wasn't being called. Alright. Now in real time you can see people gaining and losing resources. And we now have an arbitrary number of calories given by any food. We could probably have people do something. Maybe do something with the berries? I'm trying to think, like, it's not as if they have the resources for it yet, right? There's nothing they need to jump over. The environment isn't necessarily hostile or anything. What should be the next feature added to this? Oh, I mean, some of the bushes are still spawning outside the map, but that's just funny. We've got, what, 4 people left now? 3 people? I like how some of the people go dead and gone, but not everybody does. You'd think more people would go dead and gone now, but nope. Damn. So 90 turns in, and Stabby Gaming's gonna survive forever, because he's looted every other body on the map at this point, except for 1 person. But this shows us the total amount of resources that are put into each map. It's enough for agents to survive for a long time. Given that they work together. So eventually Stabby dies of dehydration. With 100 food left. Interesting. Alright then. Let's have a look around, shall we? Player list entry we don't need. Agent's definition for food is fine. We don't have any other liquids yet, so we don't have to worry about them giving us anything. Last action time. The actions are based on your nearby neighbors. You'll try to steal bread and money, but you will not steal like berries. Remember, we managed to fix up some of this where it's not at random anymore. And collecting was collect from for... Yeah, that was for a provider. Okay. So I suppose we could add more providers at this point and give people the ability to create a tool? Should they take a tree? Well, no. Should they take a log? I realize now that providers need to be able to give multiple or a random item. Because if you cut down a tree, you could be getting, logs. You could also get like twig or branch. You could also get, there could be a food-bearing tree. So let's change how our provider works. Let's go to the provider. So scripts and provider. I hit open C# project. It should open it up. No, it didn't. Great. Okay, provider. There we are. Provider gives an item name and stock, as well as the number of stock per use. So let's see. How would we split this into multiple? We could serialize providers, but only... They would have to have a struct of some information, and then a list of that struct. So let's see. We would have a public struct drop table, maybe, and then a drop table consists of a item. Drop entry. Drop entry consists of an item and a number. So like these ones here. Like this. And then maybe we have a 1 that needs to go away because you cannot have a default value in a struct. And then we will have public drop entry, drop entries. Maybe? See what happens. If I click on a provider now, oof, everything has been upset. Right. Don't have to worry about those syntax for now. Let's go look at the prefab and see if it's saved. No, it does not look like it did. That's interesting. The provider script has not changed on our prefabs. I guess we now have a few errors around them, but is that really preventing Visual Studio from doing anything? Or is that preventing Unity from showing the update? There we go. Is this no longer an issue? This is unexpected N now, right? Now we'll provider update. There we go. So it doesn't look like we can do edit a drop table. However, maybe if we make it serializable, it will show up. There we go. Now we can make our drop tables. See? So given a bush has a drop table that's one big, and it drops berries. Then we had our tree, which could drop multiple items, which is either a log or a branch. There we are. Then we have our water, which can also provide two things. It can provide water, or it can provide an raw fish. I suppose this should be fish raw, but yeah, fish raw. And it has a stock of 3 and gives you 1. So now we only need to add a component of... We need to add some sort of drop weight. And then we need to change this, where we have run out of stock. So if, not if item stock, but if drop entries... This should be a list of drop entries now, which is a shame. Because I think this, I don't know if I can edit a list of drop entries. List could not be found. Well, using system collections generic. If I can edit the list, right, then it's just going to be an issue of drop entries dot count being less than, or sorry, being 0. There we go. Then this would make our reconsider life function work. So we go back to Unity. We check one more time to make sure our changes work. Excellent. So it doesn't seem to matter what if you change the array type as long as it's still an array. Now we just need to change any other references to providers. So let's do Control-Shift. Oops, select the project, Control-Shift-F, and type provider. Because we have it in a few of our comments now. So first we get a list of providers. Then we attempt to collect from one. So let's go here, fixed update. Minimize all the functions that we don't need right now. Including, oh, nope, collect from is the first function we need. So, the object isn't interactable, go next. Then take an item from the provider as per its rules. This is what we need to take, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, an item is going to be provider.get random, get item. And this will return an item. There we go. And then whatever this item is, we will add. So we will add the name. And then we will add the amount of it. Ooh, no. This should return a drop entry, actually. But the drop entry is not public. It is a provider.drop entry. There we go. Get drop. Because a drop entry has a few things we need. It has the item name, and it has the stock per use, which is what we're concerned about. And then this, which is that the drops item stock is reduced. by the stock per use. And we can just echo this information here. Drop, drop, and then provider. Whoa, what was that bottom one? From 3, provider's game object name. That's fine. So now we just need a get drop function. We go over to our provider one more time. We add a new method, get drop, public void. Public drop entry, get drop. And this will return, I don't know, it's just return the first one for now, I guess, huh? So return drop entries 0. But first, we should go through every drop entry and remove the ones that are empty. So let's see, stock is less than or equal to 0. I wonder if I can do remove. Return drop entries where, so we need link. And this is where x is x dot item stock is less than or equal to 0. Cannot implicitly convert an enumerable to a drop entry. All right, and we just want the first. Because can it return null? Yes, it can. Let's see. It's got to return. No. This is a weird one. Really, we want to get a drop entry. And then if D is null, then we do something else. We return D. There we go. Now down in reconsider life, we'll see what destroys us. This is destroy self. This is private void destroy self. It will never be null. So it's where the item stock is less than or equal to 0. There we go. And then we will return. Oh, you have to return something. Interesting. All right. If we return if drop dot item stock less than or equal to, so it just be greater than 0 to add it. Like this. Take these 4 lines, put them here. Now let's run this. Oof, it's some errors. Where are these errors? The first error is with link. That the operation is not valid due to, I'm using a struct, so let's just use a serializable class. Because structs are just really hard to work with. Can't return null where you would like to in a struct. So now I can just actually return null. See? And then over here, we'll just say if drop is not null, then yeah. Have to worry about null drop now. Run one more time and see what the remaining 2 errors are. 4 errors. So the first error is here. that due to the state of drop entries, we cannot use it. Let's see. Are drop entries never created in Awake? Or like, what's going on? It says that due to the state of the object. Let's go first or default. Default should be null, right? No. So let's have a look at the 4 errors. 2 errors, sorry now. So just a no reference exception. So if D is null, destroy self. Let's see, anywhere else that we have this issue? No, looks like we're running fine now. So let's see if people are able to collect resources from anything. The water is going away and the trees are going away, but nobody's displaying messages. What is going on? Interesting. Something has happened where the stock is being reduced, but a message is not being displayed. Why would that be? Drop entries. If the count is 0, it destroys itself. So if the drop is not null, then we add it and remove it, and we append to the log. Why would it be disappearing without us appending it to the log? Let's have a look. If we follow anybody around the map and see if they're getting resources. No, everyone is alive. Doesn't look like anyone got the water. Let's click on one of these waters maybe. Let's pause. Click on these waters. So let's zoom in. Let's look at this. This. And this. Right? And then let's look at this person here. Looks fine. Let me unpause. One of the waters is gone. What the hell? So they're definitely taking the liquids again, but this time they're not getting anything for it. We reconsider life if the drop count is 0 and destroy on empty. I see. So let's get rid of this. These two. There we go. If we're null and destroy on empty, then destroy. And we don't need to call reconsider life anymore. And I see that the amount to be reduced needs to be reduced in the function itself. Okay. So let's try this instead. Instead of using link. Go drop entries count I++. If drop entries I dot item stock less than or equal to 0, then continue. Else we return the. Oops, we first reduce the item count by the amount per item, and trees I dot stock per use. We then return the reference to that drop. And then down here we simply say if destroy on empty, destroy self, return null. Because we're already returning the drop entry up top. See if we get our log entries now. Because without the log entries, people are not collecting. There we go. People are now collecting resources until a null pointer exception. What created a null reference? Refresh. I am. 12 people watching. It is online. It's weird the way that the site goes offline sometimes. Yeah, it's live coding is not... It doesn't always work, but it works most of the time so far. Can definitely see how I've had to use... why I do have to side stream is because it doesn't always work. So, we got a null pointer or null reference exception here. So we should see that if blueprint is null, then that means if we could not load the item from database, throw an exception, corrupt database. And we're going to throw the exception by literally just calling blueprint because we know it's null. Like there, blueprint.value or something. Whatever. Okay, you can't just leave a blank by itself. We'll just try and use it. Detected. We will throw something about it. So debug.unityengine.debug.log error. There we go. And we're going to log that item with name 0 could not be found. And this is a string format. The first reference we're sending is name. Name as passed in. And then this will already throw a null reference because of the text underneath it. So using that to our advantage, we can at least see which it is. I think it's the fish that's making an error now because I have not explained fish. Yep. This time it was branch. So let's go to the SQL database over here. And let's create these two new items. We need to create branch, and we need to create an uncooked fish. Pretty straightforward, right? So let's create a new record. There we go. And then we're also going to add, what is the branch going to weigh? Branch of value 1, branch of weight 2. Right, I'm writing all the weights explicitly with the 0.0 so that when they come in as a double or float when they're loaded. And then we need the fish raw. And the fish raw cannot be, it's not edible. So it's not going to have a calorie value. You're going to have to cook it. And it's going to weigh like 4 pounds. Because a fish is going to be very useful. So if we write our changes, and we clear, we run one more time, see what we get. Are people able to collect fish, berries, branches, all these things? Yes. No? I can't tell because nobody's collected water away yet. Oh, it looks like we are now. This is interesting. What about fish? Okay. Not many people are collecting fish, but it is possible. There we go. Now people are able to collect raw fish and everything. There we go. I guess next we need to add cooking. So that people can probably start a fire with their logs, right? What would be a source of ignition? Since nobody has... Huh. I realized there is no source of ignition. Okay, so we're just gonna have to have a fire somewhere. What would a good fire be? Didn't realize that would be a problem. We could say maybe that they can just cook something as a turn, but how would they go about doing that? Loot. It would be not like a loot or a trade or a steal action. It would be something else. They wouldn't move either, so they would use less food or water while doing it. So let's go over to fixed update. Here we go. This is their movement. Actually, I wonder, if they're not moving, is their health and food being reduced? Move towards destination. That's only if their actions were 0. Does move towards destination reduce their... Yes, it does. So, your food and water is not reduced without moving. So, in theory, if you're taking constant actions, they're free. That's interesting. I mean... I'm okay with that right now because I think we can use that. So this was if we just died. So let's see. Newly die. That could be its own little thing. This is our food and water. These are the actions. So let's move all of these to take turn actions. Scroll down. 1 of these, 2 of these. And these are take actions. Then we go down to LMT, private void take actions. And then below this point are actions. Whoops, I didn't mean that. Don't want to comment this. Actions below this point. There we are. This at least makes it so we don't have to open fixed updates so often. And take actions gets to be on its own little method, you know? Let us see. Big Blue Rex waffles. Look good, but missing a matte square. Matte. Got you now. Anyone else? Let's add a matte square to the game. Since we're not giving anybody something special anymore when they start. Did we? Yeah, no, we didn't yet. So LMALMT Matt. He goes right there. I guess Decker. Decker's already a thing, right? Mirage, Malscythe, Romgar, HD. HD. Yeah, good point. I mean, we might as well, right? We should just add... Should really just add all C# regulars. Oh, adding used economic agents in the game. Let's link that here. If you want, that is. I mean, striking, yeah. Let's see, at least add all the ones that I've spoken to. There's R.O. Rom German. There's you live your life as a little rectangle. There's Movarians. So let's go. Movariant. Who else are we going to add in here? Malscythe, of course. Malscythe's already a member. HD. I guess HD can be in there. Why not? Half were already there. So let's see now. How are people doomed to die? Oof. There's many, many, many people now. And Human Supremacist name is too long. I still have to fix that. That was explicitly the feature that OpenNebula added, by the way, is that they can have all 5 virtualizers together. But here we are. We are in this little, everyone's running around. Everyone's trying to survive. The death and the stealing and the, oh boy. Westerman failed to steal from many people. This is just going insane. So many actions are happening at one time. But who will survive given this many economic members? We're now at turn 50. So it seems as well that the more members in the economy, the better off it goes. Yes. Interesting. This is turn 90 now. There's 2 people left. Hopefully they will continue to loot bodies. Come on now. Yes, there we go. As long as they find more bodies, they will survive. I've turned the collection range to like 1, so now you're not just looting from any distance. Wow. Le Chat actually managed to win this one. Well. Le Chat finally managed. This is weird. That's variant. Yes. Rob German was alone. Of course nobody knows what's going on. What else are we going to add to this? They cannot cook. The agents have fish raw, but they can't cook it. What do? How are the agents going to make fire, I wonder? They're also trying to steal them from each other now, so... Human supremacists. Let's see. The names. Some of these names are a little too long, but I mean, they're working, right? Oof. Alright. We can't give them a means to start fires, so I guess for now, we'll just give them a source of fire. Huh? Because I think if they start fires, that will cause problems. Let's see. The water bodies are okay now. People don't like to collect them, but... Are we getting a page full of events every turn? Yes, we are. So they are collecting water. They're just not... Man, we have a lot of actions in there. Okay. We can't fit all of them on the screen. Like, each turn's actions anymore. I like that they're almost delayed by a second every action, but... You can see it gets behind. You can see as well as some people die. They do not give... their body does not say dead and gone when they are looted. Not always. So that's a bit of a bug as well. But somehow Le Chat managed to survive the first time. As the victors turned 117. What could we expect from the second run, you know? And anyone on live coding as well, if you just speak up, you say like, yeah, me too, I will add you into the game as a population, because the more users in the population, the longer that you guys will all live. Right? The more people we can add, the more people, the longer everyone will live. That should be how it works. Even though you are consuming more water and food, you are all working together, and thus there are more people producing, more people cooking, more people doing all these things. Man, EB and HD, this is very surprising. They've both gone now to this turn. They're not really using water anymore. Either that or the playlist on the side of the map is no longer updating. Yeah. Looks like eventually we break updates on the side. This is very interesting. So we'll have to look into that at some point too. Alright. We have a few people have said, or one person who's repeatedly said, yeah, unfortunately... What do you mean, my mic? My mic is here, but unfortunately, I can't add music. Because this is also on YouTube and anywhere else. You will love to be in there. So this is Mobile Paddle and B4U7. Do you guys want to go as any other different name or use like that? Also, I think... I see. The timer is what froze on the stream. So that was a little confusing. It's funny that the timer of all things is what froze. So let's go over here. Go to the top of game and add you. I add everybody alphabetical for now. It's just me. Oh well. S1B4U7. Except for... the first people here, right? Alright. So now you're both part of the universe. Oof, Visual Studio is destroying your text with the find results. Really gotta find a better place to put chat when on the Visual Studio scene. Alright, let's run one more time. And I divided Darko. Alright, divided Darko. Divided Darko. Where is Mr. Divided Darko? I will put him right here. Yep. You have a capital M now. I realized that it's, this website here does not like capitals. This, live coding. It really does not. Like, even in the streams, all of the listings look lowercase. Whoops. Wait, what? Mobile pad. Oh, pad day. I see. I was misreading that. I did add an L. Let's run one more time then. Should everybody exist now? There we go. We've got like 2 or 3 more people until I need to make the screen bigger again. But, I mean, that being said, the screen is supposed to be bigger. Let's make this a little wider, a little taller, you know? Especially if this was full screen, right? There we go. Interesting that the text does not move with the screen, but I suppose that's because I position them at the start. Yes. And I can make it a little bit wider now, too, because the aspect ratio of the map area, the border, does not stay same. That's interesting. All the people are already gone. This one, everybody died very quickly. But I mean, hey, when you don't trade, that's what happens. Trading is the only thing that keeps people alive. Hey, welcome to the channel, Arbanes1. I think now, since we can't give them a way to make fire, maybe we say that if they have a raw food, no. Can't do anything with the raw food yet. So maybe we add something to the trees and the bushes. Let's see what a bush could give us. What food grows on a bush? Let's ask Google. What are... Nope. Bush-grown vegetables. List of. See how many of these things are going to matter. Summer squash, peppers, tomatoes. Of course, tomatoes. What else? Let's have a look at this list. Why not? Are any of these on? Brussels sprouts are like nubs that grow on stalks. Pineapples grow from a plant on the ground. Cashews are a fruity thing. Flowers. Pomegranates grow on trees. Vines, leeks. Ooh, what's that? Persimmons grow on a big tree. Didn't know that, because those are tiny little things. Maybe cocoa beans for chocolate grow inside pods. How about, if we don't have bushes, what about tree-bearing fruit? Whoops. Fruit-bearing tree. There we go. I was like, why am I getting all these biblical quotes? I'm just looking for the list of tree fruit. Apples? That's a thing. Cashew, cherry, coconut, durian. So let's have a look at this. Maybe if I have our tree class add in random things. Oops. We'd have to give them a point to exist, huh? Let's go to map where we create our trees. There we are. And let's have a bit where the tree can have a new... Should it have a new provider? Yes. Each tree provider, we should add something to it. So we have our bush here, which I think we can have less of, but we will see. Oh, add a series of bush to each tree. But the tree, if we go like this, provider, like that, provider, because provider dot drop entries dot add new drop entry. And this new drop entry is going to be 1. Let's see. Let's give it a name. The class has no constructors, so we do need that. Let's go to provider drop entry and give it a constructor so that we can create them shorthand. Public drop entry. This will be a string name. Stock in int per use. Whoops. There we go. And then we just assign item name as name, item stock is stock, and stock per use is per use. There we go. Now we have a shorthand way to create these drop entries. Now we should add from a list of trees. Where will we get this list? For now, it will be here. So fruits. And put right there. One of them is apple. And we can say that random choose. How do you choose one? Random range between 0 and fruits.count. Whoops, length. And this will be fruits by that number. And then what other fruits will we add from the Wikipedia? We will have the apple. We will have the... What else? Coconut? Why not? At the moment, yes, these all sort of generate together, but they won't eventually. Mango, that's fine. We maybe could add a plum, soursop, tomatillo, walnut. See, that's a thing. I've got music, but of course I can't put it on stream due to YouTube. But I talk on the stream, so. But who knows? Sometimes that doesn't even go through. Tamarillo is not useful. Nope, never mind. The mic's going through. That's not an issue. The interactivity is up to the viewers at that point then, because I'm welcome to talk with anybody if they want to. Ooh, we're missing something here. What did I do that made Visual Studio so upset? Scroll all the way up to the top. New line in constant. There we go. That's what happened. I hate when Visual Studio gets upset. So, yeah, I'm not really sure why we have apple, coconut, and mango trees, but we do. Why not, right? Yeah, I mean, I guess live coding would let me put music, wouldn't they? Whereas nobody else would. Like, if I want to take this for a YouTube video or anything, they would get very upset. Let's go fruits length. Get random point. What am I allowed here? Hello, Pureho, and welcome to the chat. How many calories in apple? 50. Well, 52. Great. Which means the rest of our calorie numbers are very wrong, which is fine. Let's open the database and add some new item types. Since apple is not an item, we can't pick it up yet. We need to add it. Apple. The apple value. All the foods are worth 2 right now. That's fine. We need to add one more, the mango, and then the coconut. Because for whatever reason, I decided to create both of those. Whoops. I hate that it opens that big window sometimes. Right, and then we just need to write calorie values for an apple, a coconut, and a mango. Which is 10, 11, and 12 item IDs respectively. What is a loaf of bread? A loaf of bread is like 300 grams, isn't it? What does it think? A slice is 25, 10 slices, 250. Bread is a lot of calories. All right. $50 berries is like 40 calories. If we change all the calorie values to be a lot closer, maybe they'll make sense, but maybe they'll make no sense at all. I don't know. Who knows, right? What is one coconut? One piece of coconut is 159. One medium coconut is 1,500 calories. Oh my god. Not even that, but like calories also, or coconuts also add hydration. One fruit, one mango without its pieces is 200 calories. So that's interesting. These are wildly different values. Of course, you can't eat the 1,400 calories of a coconut, I don't think. I'll make that 1,200 for now. The coconut is, you're not likely to find a coconut, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem, but let's see what we random. Let's just see what people find, huh? Because they should find, like, berry, coconut, berry... No, okay, interesting. So I didn't see an apple or a coconut or anything yet, but I think they've taken all the trees. Blue just took the last tree, or tried to. Yellow. Big hoss. Nope. Who's gonna take that tree? Maybe this person? Nope, they're dead. No? Green? No? Red? That's unfortunate. We can't really tell that it's working or not working because nobody's taking them. Alright, well... Let's see, did we add these to the list of tradables? Apple, coconut, and mango. Just put this at the top for now. We've got a lot of these little silly lists of things, but we'll be using them for something, don't worry. What is that? These are the foods that people try and eat. I see. So berry bread, apple, coconut, mango. They're not actually eating those foods. These are the foods. These are what are tradable. So to the tradable list, berry, bread. I'll have all the foods on the first line because then I could just keep them like this. Log, plank, and water. Private. Don't need that as a public one either, I don't think. Let's see. Am I using that anywhere else? Nope. So now if they can trade and eat them, hopefully people will, you know, be happy that they've found these things now. Let me see. Mango. I'm seeing mangoes. I'm seeing berries. I'm not seeing a coconut yet, but we'll just have to see. Ooh, Stabby Gaming. What did you get? It's hard to tell. People are definitely collecting a lot of fish, and you're getting any number of items from an enemy. I suppose if I made the inventory not mutable, what would you call it? Serializable, then I would be able to inspect it in Unity. Might have to at this point. Yep. I'm going to have to make some of these things serializable so that I can see them in Unity. So let's go to item. First, we have item attribute. That's the item attribute and item blueprint are not going to be. Item itself, however, should be system.serializable. And then probably the inventory itself can be serializable as well. And what do we actually serialize? Just the list of items, that's it. Now let's go look at an agent. Let's click on, say... I am red, huh? Let's click on me. There we go. Now we can have a look at my inventory live. And somehow I got a hold of a lot of berries. And then died. Huh. I guess I ran out of water. That was interesting though. I didn't expect such a quick response out of that. Alright. Given the bushes now, and the fact that we can get these items from trees. What must we add next? Like, of course the graphics are crap. The water needs to be an actual surface and not a block. So let's just go have a look. Berry burglar. Yeah, you can definitely steal berries from other people. That's the best part, I think. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I had a YouTube video where a certain French company tried to say that they owned Amazing Grace. So I don't trust any music on YouTube anymore. Like, even the music from the game I'm playing, you can't even trust. It's a shame, really, because, you know, it just means I have to talk the whole time, but I don't mind it, I guess. Just, it's up to other people to mind me talking forever. Why am I getting this little... You're seeing that, right? Like, it almost looks like artifacting. It should only happen when I have multiple floors, but I don't. Oh well. We need to do something about these colors. Because everybody's a little rectangle, you really can't tell what's going on. How about we make people... Not just a square, huh? Let's go look at our player. Yeah, oh, good point, too. Let's click on this. Okay, good. It's only one mesh plane. That's weird that it's doing that, but, yeah. I don't actually have two meshes there. In fact, I don't really have anything here besides, two canvas. Everything else is an empty object with no meshes. Alright, let's just scale all of this up to fit a proper monitor size now. There we go. Because nothing was fitting, really. Maybe 300, and we can make the bit at the bottom bigger as well. Or wait, can I? Yeah, there we go. And then we can make this maybe 200 tall. Yep. I'm going to make the text bigger as well. But move the camera one more time. There we go. What happens when we draw our new canvas pieces now? An error. Interesting. What's our error? A mesh cannot use more than 65,000 vertices. What? Oh. Huh. So apparently now I'm drawing too many things with the UI? Even though I've only made like 4 controls? There's something not going right here. Let me just restart Unity. Yeah, there's something going wrong. Where are these, all of these vertices? Let's just make it no background, all of them. There we go. So something about using the sliced mode just breaks. That's good to know. Let's try running it again. Something is wrong with the sliced UI mode. It works otherwise. Also, why does the text seem so differently rendered now? Everything seems to have changed. Well, okay, wait. We did just restart Unity, so maybe it didn't keep our resized UI. There we go. I know I can set the text scale. Oh, and we need to do one more line of activity log. All right. How does this scale with having a bigger page now? The world scale's okay, but the text, the player's text does not scale okay. It gets far too big. What happens if I restart the game? Is it just because it doesn't scale? Yeah, okay. It's because it doesn't scale. Because it starts out at an okay size. So now let's try making the map just a little bit smaller, you know? Just a little bit. Yep. Able to fit everything just fine. We can make it huge, in fact, because we're using our 16:9 as the default resolution. And everyone fits on our side. The UI is finally at least scaling, even though it's not scaling correctly. And maybe we can make agents something other than a square. That was a little weird, though, to know that sliced UI creates something that is too many vertex. So, note to self, never use a UI panel with type sliced background. It somehow creates a 65,000 vertex object. Not sure what happens there. Huh? Hello. Let's see. Who will survive? We have 2, 4... Ooh, 3 people left. That was really quick, those deaths. Did they collect any of the special foods? No, not really. So everybody eventually died of water. Food was not an issue, so liquids are still a problem. Is it because... It's not because it's hard to get liquids. And I wonder what's making the side update so slowly. What calls update on a player list? This should be called... We'll call it only on late update, first of all. And then update canvas is the same thing? How does that work exactly? Update canvas updates a single player, whereas late update updates every player. Okay. Canvas elements text. If they're null. Okay. And does remove... Add and remove doesn't really do anything, no. Interesting. So something is causing a bunch of UI lag, and I'm just going to have to profile to figure out what. Where is the profiler when I need it? There it is. Alright, profiler. Let's see what you can do. Alright, play. Now, what are we doing? What is the terrible thing we're doing with the UI that is making the game so upset? So more than 50% of our calls, so it's all in late update. Look at that. So updating the UI is really one of the most expensive things we're doing right now. It's taking a lot of milliseconds too. A little bit of physics, a little bit of behavior, and now we're just getting 10% in a magic overhead. But once you're at the 1000 FPS point, it doesn't really matter. The thing I'm concerned about is that people's like food and water amounts are not updating. All right, let's have a look at what we profiled. Yeah, agent fixed update. I mean, that is our main logic, but updating the UI is what took a silly amount of time. And it's not being called as much as it should either. So let's go to player. That's right here. Let's take this, get rid of it from late update, and instead have a coroutine that is just update UI. Public void update all canvas. And then we will call this from our start is a invoke repeating. We'll call it every 0.1 seconds. Really, we only need to call it like every half second. If we reduce the number of times we're calling the function, significantly improves everything else. Again, Unity getting some weird terror marks. But if we run it one more time, there we go. Performance is improved on that side list dramatically, calling it only once every half second. Now we're not seeing the food and water amounts just stay. See what happens when some people die. Is it then that the UI starts breaking? No. Some people are already dead. And the other people's water amounts are not moving anymore. Ooh, I know why. I'm returning. That's silly. I should be continuing. Yep. Oh, there we go. This should fix up our UR significantly. Probably the former. There we go. How is our updating going now? It's going successful this time. We don't have to worry about calling so often either. Since the turn UI only updates roughly every second, it makes sense that the player list only updates every half. Oh man, look at all that failing to steal. So many people are dead and gone this time around. So the dead and gone thing finally works. And it's definitely the amount of water that is killing people, not food. Yep. Because of course, when you loot a dead person, they had no water. And we have so much food now. So let's increase the water body spawn in the map. So we're going to go to game controller. Find the bit that spawns, which is start at the bottom where we make a lake. Nope, sorry. This will be in map controller in generate. How big does... Yes, dimensions are done by generate. Nope, dimensions are done by the bottom of start. What am I saying? here are our lakes. So apparently right now we generate between 2 and 4 lakes. So let's go between 3 and 5 lakes that are between 3 and 6 in size. 2. There we go. And then forest between 4 and between 1 and 8. 3 and 8. Because the issue is water, so maybe we'll make the water tiles give water faster as well. We'll say that there's 4. Or maybe you get 5 out of 15. There we go. Let's play this one more time and see how we go with the 4 bodies of water, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trees, and the very many people. I think, yeah, red. It's when you take the water, that is your whole action, and then you continue moving after taking water. People should not be moving towards destination during their action. B4U7 is not having a problem with water this time around, nor is Sense. So maybe between these two people, we want on average for people to survive around 50, as we say, and turn 150 is where we expect 3 to 5 people to survive. Proxy with 50 water. Okay, so we have fixed the water issue in the environment now. We have also, for the most part, fixed the food issue. Once there's less than 5 people, everyone is, well within their means. They even had a little bit of money left in once they were trading. Yeah, and everyone that is dying from water. That's basically what we expect. So let's see. We've got these 2 people left. Neither of them is concerned with the water. Ooh, 1 blue person concerned with the water. What is happened that made them take the water so slowly? Oh, because they're taking fish out of it too. Okay. So everyone has fish and they don't know what to do with it. That's what happened. Did we get an... Yes, we got an error. I hate this error. This is not a real error. The profiler running out of samples is because the profiler doesn't turn itself off properly in Unity. Look, the profiler is off, but you need to tap record again, and then you also have to keep the profiler open because from now on, for whatever reason, it's going to decide it wants to be open. Silly problem to have. Ah, well. Yeah, look at that. Now we're just going to run out of frames forever. These are the little bugs you have to deal with Unity. There's not too many of them, but there are a few. And the few of them are annoying enough to cause problems. Yeah, let's start Unity again. Come on here. I mean, whatever. Sometimes you have to restart it, right? There we go. And if I go to record, well, it is recording, but I mean, at least we can see what is taking up the most processing time now. No, looks like we're fine. We'll have to worry too much about it. Again, once you're at the 1000 FPS mark, you don't have to worry about the profiler. But again, when I turn profiling off is not when it should give me that error. There we go. About running out of numbers. Yeah, I like that the lakes are now generating a random size. And we don't have to worry about their points on the map. Also, the UI, just that one single return instead of a continue was causing the whole thing to be hard to diagnose, but now it's not an issue. And now we're not using like 20% of our CPU just for dead update, because it was being called multiple times a frame when the character information only changes perhaps twice a second. But hey, you know, join me any day at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as we go over this economy test, as well as we've got a few more projects listed in the description in live coding below. And if you miss these, they go on to YouTube, which that's why the music thing, right? So I think for next features, let's see. Now that we have an arbitrary amount of item attributes, we have weapons, people will steal, people have the ability to sell things, cooking requires there to be fires maybe, but people have to build for that. And then we should deal with the fact that like Westerman here has just been staring at a tree for a while, so he might outlive everybody just based on the amount of water he's using not moving. Yep. Westerman wins by not moving. Well, with that, yeah. Ask you to join me tomorrow. And as well, for anybody so interested, I will post just this. There is a Google Sheet. There we go. There is now a Google Sheet shown on the profile page where you can find the dates and times and topics of upcoming streams. And you'll know when to tune in and when's best for you, right? Of course, we see you can follow on YouTube or Twitter at Albino Stoic. YouTube is youtube.com/c/angryalbinohour.